True or false? There is nothing worse than sitting down to write a social media post only to see that blinking cursor taunting you from the blank screen. My friend, you are not alone. It's like that little cursor just sits there saying, yeah, we both know you need to come up with a creative idea that your audience is gonna love right now. And we both know you're drawing a total blank. But the good news is writing captions that captivate and convert your readers into leads and sales for your business, it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be hard. And when you have a step-by-step formula, it can actually be incredibly simple to do. In this episode, I'm going to share our caption formula with you. It's very simple. There's 3 parts to it so that you can spend less time writing your captions and more time reading all the comments, engaging with your new followers, and actually growing your business. So let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Jordan Maylea, co-founder of the Global Freedom Community alongside my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider. Together, we help driven network marketers with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. We put out brand new videos just like this one on this channel every single week. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you are not going to want to miss all the goodness that we have here for you. In every single episode, we include a free resource to help you get more out of what we cover inside the episode and to help you take that next step for enrolling more customers and team members into your business on social media. I'm going to link in the show notes to a full recap of this episode, including a link to this week's freebie. So be sure to check that out before you go. When it comes to social media, the photo stops the scroll, but the caption is what converts. And when you do it right, your caption can convert total strangers into new followers, more engagement, and even leads and sales for your business. We have a very simple 3-part formula that we use for writing all of our high converting captions, and I'm going to share it all with you along with some great examples inside this video. The first part of your caption formula is the hook, okay? So the photo stops the scroll, but the hook is what keeps the scroll stopped, okay? When someone's scrolling through social media, you have 13 milliseconds to catch and stop their attention. So they're sitting here, they're scrolling, they see your photo, they glance at the first sentence of your post, and in 13 milliseconds, they decide whether they're going to stop and read or they're going to keep scrolling. Chances are, if you're not getting the engagement you want on your social media posts, it's that people aren't even slowing down enough to read them. You've got to have a compelling hook. You've got to have a way to hook their attention and keep their scroll stopped. There's 2 ways to do this that are really, really simple. The first is by asking a question, and the second is by creating a cliffhanger. So I'm going to explain both of those to you. We use both in our business, so I'm also going to give you some examples. So asking a question. When we are asked a question, our brains are naturally wired to need to know the answer. We like to have answers to our questions. So when someone is scrolling and they see that you've asked a question, and they are part of your ideal audience, it is going to stop their scroll and they're going to need to get the answer to that question before they can move on. So they're going to stop and they're actually going to read your entire caption. When picking your questions, you want to think about the pain points that your audience is experiencing, the questions they ask that keep them up at night. So for me and my mom, our audience, they're trying to grow their network marketing business on social media. So those are the types of questions we ask. We know what pain points they have. We know how to ask questions that they are asking themselves inside their own head. Now, maybe your audience is struggling with how to lose weight or how to improve their confidence or how to find a healthy solution or a healthy alternative, clean living solution for their family that's toxic free. You want to think about your audience. What questions do they have? And you want to answer those, you want to first ask those questions with your hook and then use the rest of your caption to answer that question for them. So as you can see in these 3 examples, these are 3 questions that I asked in 3 very successful posts that we put up on social media. They got a lot of engagement, a lot of positive response, and even brought in some leads and sales for our business. This is the first line that people see when they slow down and glance at your post. So ask that question and it will encourage them to want to click that read more button and get the answer. The other way to create a hook is to create a cliffhanger that literally leaves your audience sitting on the edge of their seat. So again, you're opening up a loop, a new train of thought that they are going to need to have closed. They're going to feel compelled to close that loop before they move on. So a good cliffhanger will typically bust a myth. It will tease a secret. It will start off a compelling or a funny story that your audience can relate to. So you can see here in this example, I teased the secret to less stress, okay? That was something that I knew my audience would relate to. In this other example, I started off a funny story about how a hater called me a Karen on social media. And in this last example, I busted a myth. I picked out a common objection, something that my audience hears all the time. And then in the rest of the caption, I busted the myth about what that objection is really about and how they can overcome it. The key with your hook is to get inside your audience's head. You want them to be scrolling. They're going to see your photo. They're going to read that first sentence and they're going to say, oh my gosh, that's me. How can I fix this? How can I, how is this post going to solve my problem or my pain point? After the hook, it's time to get into your content. This is the meat and potatoes of your post. This is where you're going to deliver value to your audience and then lead them on to where they can take the next step with you. There's two main ways that you can deliver the content portion of your post. The first is by sharing a lesson or teaching them something. So with this format, you want to think in bullet points, okay? Think about a summary. We also call this microblogging because it's the same format as creating a blog post or even an outline for a Facebook Live or a YouTube video, but it's all shortened up to fit inside a caption. So you have your hook and then you have 3 to 5 quick points that deliver value on what your hook was teasing them about or what it captured their attention with. I absolutely love this example from a fitness trainer that I follow on Instagram. Her photo was a picture of a homemade hummus that she had made. And then in the caption, she listed out with bullet points the recipe for this homemade hummus. So as you can see, she was teaching me something. She was teaching me how to create my own hummus at home, which I happened to be very interested in. I saved that post. I screenshotted it. It was a really, really good example of teaching something in the content of your post. Now, the second way that you can deliver the content is my personal favorite, and that is by sharing a story. In a story, you want to take your audience on a journey. You want to help them have an aha moment or experience a transformation. Now, every good story has 3 parts. It has before, what were you struggling with? What was the pain that was going on? It has the middle, which is when something came in to disrupt or change that pain. It was the aha moment. It was the solution, right? And then it has the after. It has the happy ending. What happened after you found this solution? So your story needs to take your audience on this journey. And it can be your own story. It can be the story of a client or a customer or a team member or someone else in your company. It can be an analogy or even just a fun memory. So I love using stories to draw my audience in. These are the captions that get me the most followers, the most leads, the most sales for my business. So for example, I might share a story about how I really struggled with my mom and I both really struggled with getting growth and traction in our business. We couldn't, people were quitting faster than we could bring them in. And then we found a mentor who taught us a very simple duplicatable formula. We put that formula to work in our business, and then we went on to win the award for the fastest growing team in our company 5 years in a row. We tell this story all the time. And in fact, I don't want you to be afraid of having 3 or 4 different stories that you tell in different ways throughout your captions. If you follow our posts very closely, you'll see we're telling a lot of the same stories over and over again. We're just wording them in a different way or focusing on different aspects of the story throughout the post. So don't be afraid of repeating your stories, and don't be afraid to get vulnerable. Share your struggle, share your pain with whatever your audience can relate to. Share how you found the solution, create curiosity around what that solution was, and then share what happened as a result of finding and using that solution. Here you can see examples of 3 different captions. These are all around the same story, my story of how when I very first got started in network marketing and how my business has grown and transformed from that time to what it is today. So these are 3 separate posts. It's the same story. I pulled different pieces of that story to focus on with the caption, and every single one of these posts brought me a lot of engagement, new followers, really good interaction with my ideal audience. The final part of your formula is the call to action, your CTA. And you want your CTA to be congruent with what you shared throughout the post. You want to tell your audience how they can take the next step, either by commenting, by sharing, by tagging, by going to a website, by making a purchase. You want to tell them how they can take that next step. If they found this caption valuable, here's how you can take the next step. And if you're wondering how or when or what to say in your calls to action, this is a really important part of taking really good social media posts and making them incredible, making them machines that bring in leads and sales and followers for your business. So we decided to devote the entire next episode of Global Freedom TV to calls to action. So if you want more details on call to action, make sure you tune in next week, because we're going to devote an entire episode just to this part of the formula. And we're going to show you exactly when to include a call to action, where to write it. We're going to give you our formula. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. Writing good captions that convert your audience into followers, leads, and sales is something that you're only going to get better at as you practice it. So I want to encourage you to open up an Evernote or a Google Doc or even the notes on your phone and practice writing captions. I have so many captions right here in my phone that I have never used on social media yet, because I've gotten in the habit of when I think of a story or I think of a lesson or I experience something in my life that I think I could put a spin on that my audience would find value from, I write it down. Sometimes it's one sentence. Sometimes I'll write the whole caption out because it just comes to me in a good idea. So I want to encourage you to practice writing your captions so that you can continue to get better and better at them. Never ever write your caption inside the app. So don't just open up Facebook or open up Instagram and write your caption. There's so much pressure when you do that. So open up a separate Google Doc or an Evernote or even the notes in your phone and write it there so you can really play with the wording, read it out loud to yourself, find your typos, and then upload it and post it. Writing posts that bring in followers, leads, and sales is amazing, but it's only one part of your overall business strategy. You need to know how to find and connect with your perfect prospects, how to share your business with them with ease, and how to get them off the fence and into your business so that you can enroll new customers and team members every single week and really get that momentum and traction that you're missing in your business. So if that's something that you want more help with, I want to invite you to join us for our free social media prospecting and recruiting workshop. Inside this workshop, we share our proven 4-step formula that we use and teach our team that helps us do over 7 figures a year in team sales. We do all of this online. We enroll new team members and customers into our business every single week, thanks to these 4 steps that we use all online, all on social media. I'm going to go ahead and link to that free training in the show notes below. So check it out, and I can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this week's episode of Global Freedom TV, and I can't wait to see you right back here next week for our next episode on CTAs. I'll see you there.